us all gather our thoughts. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, amen. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Good, glory be to God. Real quick before I get started, I just want to make a quick note on the title. That's a typo, just in case anybody was reading that and was wondering what's going on out here. That's a typo, okay? So don't cancel us. All right, so we're going back to week 9. This is week 9 of the series. How long is this series supposed to be? It's a 10-week series, so we're going right up to the end of the series. And to be honest with you, this is kind of like the end of the life of Abraham. We'll see what happens next week, but this is where like everything he's been like waiting for and like praying for is all like fulfilled. And so this week we're gonna really talk about like the immense sacrifice that Abraham was called to make. But before we talk about that, I want to kind of like set the stage like for what's about to happen. And I hope nobody's like feeling like there's gonna be a spoiler. I think we all know Isaac does not die, right? Like, just gonna get that out of the way. But I want to set the magnitude of it because we read about it, and a lot of times when you read about it, especially for somebody who doesn't really understand how God works or what the gospel or the word of God means, they'll be like, this is kind of toxic. Like, God made Abraham like go through all of this for how many years, and then he gave him a son, and he's like, I'm gonna sacrifice your son. And like people would call that like what's sort of manipulative, right? Or like toxic, like, and this is true. Like a lot of skeptics, they'll read this, they'll be like, how is God real? Like, did you see what he made Abraham go through? Like, he made Abraham leave his family, and then he made him leave his friends, he made him leave his nephew, he gave him a son, then he said, send your son away, he gave him another son, and he told him to sacrifice. That's kind of crazy, right? Especially in like modern day thinking, if you're reading this, that's the only way to really think about it. I would agree with you, that sounds like a lot. But we're gonna see that today, the sacrifice that Abraham's about to make is actually one of the most remarkable, one of the most signs of love that God has shown to mankind. We're gonna flip the narrative, right? A lot of people will read this and be like, this doesn't make sense, this is cruel. But I promise you, by the end of today, you're gonna look at this story and you're gonna be like, wow, like God's love is way greater than I even imagined. So before we go into that, I want to like set the tone for kind of how human beings are. Like, our nature is like to possess. Like, we want things for ourselves. We want to say like, it's mine. Like, this belongs to me. Especially in the West, there's this mentality of like, I grinded, I worked hard, this is my money, this is my job, this is my whatever you want to call it. Like, even like as a kid, right? What's the first thing? Like, you give a kid a toy, and you take the kid a toy away from the kid. What does the kid say? It's mine. Like, it's my toy. Like, give it back. Part of this is like really like our fallen nature. Like when we fell from grace, when Adam and Eve like betrayed God, part of the fallen nature is like, we know like, you know, death and like people get hungry, people get sick, all these things is part of the fallen nature that God didn't give us. Part of it is also this sense of entitlement, this sense of this belongs to me. How do we know this? For years, God was providing Abraham, forgive me, not Abraham, he was providing Adam everything he needed. He took care of him. He had all the food he needed, all the drinks he needed. He gave him animals. He said, name the animals. All of this is yours. But the thing with Adam, he knew that this was not really his. He knew it belonged to God. And that's why God never took that grace away from him. But the one time he said, you know what, this is mine, was when he ate the forbidden fruit. When he ate the forbidden fruit and he finally said, this belongs to me, is when he lost the grace of God. Prior to that, he had many things, but he never once said, this is mine. He always said, God gave it to me, God gave it to me, this is God's. But us, we lose the grace of God in our lives because we have this sense of entitlement. This is my house, I worked for it. This is my money, I earned it. These are my dreams, I get to fulfill them how I want. Not realizing that it's God who's given it to you. But the moment you start to say, it's mine, is the moment you separate yourself from God's grace. Because you've forgotten that who gave it to you. Let's be real. Like, if you're saying, this is mine, I earned it, you're making yourself out to be like a type of God. Like, I did it for myself. I earned it. God did not give it to me. You may not say it out loud, but sometimes that's how we think. It's like, this is mine, I deserve it. This is why we've been talking for weeks that God calls us to separation. He calls us for separation. Think about it. We've everybody in this room is at least 18. We have some like 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I think there's a 40-year-old here. I'm not going to say his name. But we got some people here, right? But for at least 18 years of our life, like we've been growing up in the world. And so we've been accumulating these things of the world. These sins, a lot of filth, a lot of worldly thoughts. Why does God ask us to separate? He said, you've been of the world for so long, you forgot the image I made you in. So I just need you to separate so you're reminded of who I created you to be. That's the only way to hear God's voice, is separation for God, which is what we see with Abraham, which is what we see with David. Remember when we talked about David? He was a shepherd. He wasn't like some big old guy training for war. He was a shepherd when God called him because he was separated for God. He didn't listen to the mess of the world. So that's what God calls us to do, is to separate, because we have this nature of possessing. It's mine. It belongs to me. These worldly things. But this is the catch. What you release in faith, God replaces in fullness. What you release in faith, God replaces in fullness. The God we deal with isn't a God that just says give it up and then be sad about it. He says give it up because it's good for you. Give it up because now you can hear me. And I promise you I'll replace it in full. What does full mean? You won't lack anything. Like think about it. The thing you're holding on to, you're going to lose it eventually. You get a house, it's going to be gone eventually. Money, going to be gone eventually. Like when you die, like you can't take it to the grave. Like you just can't. That might be a Drake song, I think I've heard that before. But you can't take it to the grave. Like it's true. You can't. It all just fades away. There's something we say in the liturgy after we read the second epistle. It's like, oh my brothers, do not love the riches of the world, for the riches are passing away. It passes away. And so God's actually trying to help you out. He's trying to say, hey, the thing that you really don't want to let go of, you're going to have to let go eventually. You're not going to have it forever. So how about you let go of it and I pay you back in full? That's like what God's math is. Like, let go of what is temporary and I'll give you what is eternal. Let go of your temporary comfort and I'll give you everlasting peace. He replaces it in full. And so this is where we pick up today. Abraham, we've been going around this journey. What started this journey? Like, what was he looking for that made him say, you know what, I'm going to leave my family and I'm going to follow God and I'm going to live in a tent and I'm going to go through all this hardship? What was his motivation for that? He wanted a son. He wanted a son. Him and his wife were old. They couldn't have children. He wanted a son. He started off his journey looking for a son. He had an encounter with God, and God said, I got you. You're going to be the father of many nations, I promise. But eventually, as Abraham's experiencing Christ, years pass by, and he still doesn't have a child. The reason why he was able to keep hanging on, and we talked about this last week, is because he trusted in who God is rather than what God can give. He trusted in who God is rather than what God can give. Because think about it. He was on this journey for 25 years. You cannot tell me for 25 years he woke up thinking he's going to get a kid. He probably lost hope eventually. The reason why he kept going is because he's like, I enjoy this experience with God. And you can ask yourself this question. When God didn't give you what you wanted, how long did you pout for? How long were you upset for? When it happens to me, I'm upset for a while. I'm not following God for 25 years. Like, I'm not there yet. The reason why Abraham was able to follow him is because at some point he's like, yeah, I started this journey hoping for a son, but this relationship with Christ just means much more to me. If I get a son or not, I'm good. I'm good. And so he gets the son Isaac. And Isaac was literally Abraham's everything at that point. Because remember, he got rid of Ishmael, right? So this is his son. Not only just his son, it's his son his old wife gave birth to. Right? So much so that Sarah was bragging about it. She's like, who's going to make fun of me now? Look at me. In my old age, I have a kid. Y'all were making fun of me. Look at me now. I have a kid. This was what they were talking about. This is the joy that they had. So much joy that they named the kid Isaac, which means laughter. This is who Isaac was, the child of promise. The reason why Abraham started this journey. That's who his son was, who he loved. And then this is when God intervenes. So you gotta picture it. Abraham, he's been raising Isaac for years now, teaching him how to hunt. He changed his diapers. He's growing up and he's he has your hair, and like he has my eyes. Like, it's a real person. It's a real thing. And then Abraham hears a voice from God saying, Abraham. Now, if I was him, I'd be like, oh my goodness, bro. What now? Like, what do you want me to give up now? Like, what's about to happen? Like, I've given up so much. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, because anytime that God has popped in the picture with Abraham, he's asked him for more separation. He's asked him for more separation. But here's this. Every time he separated, he got more blessing, is what we've seen. But now he's asking him again for something else. I would have been like, oh, like I would have ignored him. Like Abraham back in the day, like when we first started this journey, when God told him to do something, he ignored him, right? He took like a break for like 15 years, like away from God. God said, go to the city. He's like, I'm going to stay here for 15 more years. But this time he does something different. He goes, God calls Abraham's name. He says, Abraham. You know what Abraham says? Here I am. That's like one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Like just those 3 words, here I am. Before, he would never have said that. But now, he's like, here I am. What does that mean? Here I am is like I understand who God is. He called my name. I'm his child. What do you want me to do for you? How can I serve you? Put me to use. Here I am. What's his response? Like us, that's not our response. We want like I can't hear you. Like we don't want to hear God. Like at certain points, when everything's good in life, think about it. Abraham, it's Sarah, it's Isaac, they're in the house, everything's good. When everything's good in our life, we're like, God, please do not touch anything. Everything is fine. But when he calls you, you act like you don't hear it. When he's telling you to do something, you feel it. You're like, I don't feel it. When he's telling you to change your ways, you're like, nah, the money's good, life is good, the pleasure is good. But Abraham here, he says, here I am. It's beautiful to see that growth. Remember, this is the guy who, when God told him to leave, he took forever to leave. And then when there was a hardship, he went up to Egypt when God never told him to go there. Then he slept with a servant that wasn't his wife, got her pregnant. Then he lied to a king and he lied to a pharaoh. Like he did a lot of bad things. But at the end of his life, when God called him, he said, here I am. And then it said, God wanted to test Abraham. Now this is where we're like, when we hear this, we're like, a lot of skeptics will be like, see, what kind of God tests his child? What kind of God puts his child through something? One, the Bible is written in a way for us to understand, right? It's for us to understand. 2, who said testing is bad? Like we take tests all the time. We take tests all the time to get like a new job, to get a new career, to level up in our school. But when it comes to God, it's like a terrible thing. But why does God test us? We've talked about this before. I'll give you multiple reasons. There's so many reasons why he does test us. 1, he tests us not for him to learn something about you, because he knows what you're going to do. He tests you for you to know how you would respond. Like let's say you have a trial, right? And let's say that's a test from God. And then you just like, you go through that trial and it's like, it reveals so many things to you. That's why God gave you that trial, for you to learn something about yourself. It's not for God to learn it, it's for you to learn something about yourself. Dang, like my faith is weak. Or dang, like I prioritize this. Or dang, like I love money, I love this. That's why he gives it to you, for you to realize about yourself and then get closer to him. That's number 1. Number 2, it's for you to reach a new level in your relationship with Christ. It's for you to reach a new level in your relationship with Christ. We've all started at least at baseline. That's why we're here, right? You've encountered Christ before and like you enjoy it and you want to be here. But then he's going to say, I want you to do it a little bit more so you experience me more. And I gave you the example last week, like marriages, the most successful marriages are the marriages that go through trials and tribulations and they grow stronger and stronger. It's the same thing with God. He slowly removes things out of you. Like I said, you've gathered a lot of sin from the world. It's not going to be easy to get rid of all of it. But God, being merciful one by one, he gives you a trial to do what? To remove the things that don't belong in your heart. It's like a surgeon. The surgeon removes these things that don't belong in you. It's not pleasant, it's painful, but it's for your good. The next reason why he tested Abraham is for our sake. He tested Abraham for our sake. God is so vast in his knowledge. He knew that people would learn from the life of Abraham and be men and women of faith. How would we have faith if we didn't have Abraham to look at? If we didn't have a Bible to read and see people who lived before us, how would we be able to do it? We wouldn't. Which is why God, he knew this. He allowed Abraham to be tested because he's thinking of you. He was thinking of you. In your tough times, in your trial, he allowed Abraham to be tested because he's thinking about you. So you can look back at Abraham's life and say, this is how Abraham got through it. But I can get through it too. And then lastly, he gives you trials or he tests you to reward you. To reward you. Tests and trials, again, it's not to punish you. That's not the sole purpose, it's punishment. It's to give you a reward. Not every trial is meant as a punishment. Sometimes it's a reward. Let's say you're asking God to be more patient. God, I want you to reward me with patience because my patience is being tested. Give me more patience. What is God going to do? I got you. I'm going to put you in a situation where you're forced to wait. And then I'll reward you with patience. He tested your patience to give you patience. How do you ever get patience if you're not tested? That's the only way. Not just patience, right? You ask to be more loving, right? God, make me more loving. God's like, I got you. I'm going to put somebody in your life, though, who's hard to love. How can you grow in your love if you're not loving somebody who's hard to love? He's going to give you a terrible coworker. He's going to give you a terrible classmate, a terrible sibling, I don't know. To practice that virtue of love. The thing with us is we want him to give us gifts, but not do anything for it. We're like the spoiled kid. Like, God, give me this pronto. Like, I need this. It's not how it works. You ask for stronger faith. God's like, I got you. I'll reward you with that. But I'm going to put you in a situation where you don't see the way out, and you're forced to rely on your faith and not your works. So these trials, it's actually not a punishment. It's a means for him to reward you. So like I said, Abraham rewards with, here I am. Now God speaks to him. I want you to take your beloved son, Isaac, and I want you to sacrifice him. I want you to take your beloved son, Isaac. If you actually read it, it's like kind of crazy because it's like the writer, who's Moses, is like emphasizing how much Isaac means to him. It says, God says, take your only son, okay, your beloved son, Isaac. It's like it's like rubbing it in. Like this is Abraham's only son. And if you read the old versions, it says, take your only Isaac and sacrifice him. What does it mean, your only Isaac? Take your only laughter. Take your only peace. Take your only joy. Take your only meaning of living and offer him to me. That's the magnitude of this. That's the magnitude of this. Like, think of it. Like, this is the person who many generations are going to come from. Remember, God said, I'll make you the father of many nations, and it's going to come from Isaac. Remember, back in the day, Abraham was like, who's the generations going to come from? Is it going to come from Ishmael? And God like, no, it's going to come from Isaac. So in Abraham's head, he's like, what? Like a sacrifice? Like you said, like many generations are going to come from, what does that mean? And get this, it gets even more crazier. God ordered them, Abraham and all the people in the Old Testament, to stay away from Gentiles. Why? One of the things is they would sacrifice children. And here is God saying, sacrifice this child. And Abraham said, he's like, this is not adding up. This is not making sense. At least that's what I thought. If I was Abraham, it wouldn't make any sense. But then you read, and then it says, he got up early the next morning and went up the mountain. This is the Abraham who waited several years before leaving. This is the Abraham who was too afraid to leave his loved ones. He got up early the next morning to sacrifice his son. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, at least let the kid get 8 hours of sleep. Like, what, you gotta wake him up early? Like, that's wild. At least, like, have a last supper. Like, eat, have breakfast, take your time. Take a year at least. Like, enjoy it. But now he gets up early to do it. That's the kind of faith he had. That's the kind of growth he had. But my question is it's still not making sense. Why is he so eager to do this? It's kind of wild. He just got up early in the first thing in the morning and didn't brush his teeth, no nothing, just took it. That's wild. But I started thinking about it. Why was he able to do this? Because like I said, in his past, he had a hard time letting go of his friends, his family, his loved ones. It took him decades to do it. But now it took him a night? How? One, it's because of the life experiences he's had. He knew the blessings that he delayed when he didn't follow God's timing. He knew the blessings he missed out on because he didn't follow God's orders. And now he said, I'm not going to delay my blessings anymore. Not only that, it doesn't say this, but I imagine a man of God like him, when he's faced with this trial, I imagine he didn't sleep all night. I imagine he was calling on God's name. He was praying with God, talking to God, asking him, but why, but why, but why? And I believe God made it clear to him that this was the best thing for him to do, which is why he got up early in the morning. Abraham learned to run to God and not from God. We're still learning this. We're still learning this. When we get our issues, when we have trials, when we have tribulations, no, I got it, I'm going to handle it, or I'm going to ignore God, or I don't want to come to the church, or I don't want to hear anything. But anybody who's done that knows that in the end it gets you nothing. And Abraham, at the end of his life, right now he's 120 years old. He finally got that lesson. So don't worry if you're still in this phase of your life where you're having trouble leaning on God, having trouble trusting in God. You're running from God. God knows your heart. And he's working on it. It took Abraham so many years, 50 years almost, more than that, to get to this stage. So like I said, he went to the mountain. God told him to go to the mountain, offer the sacrifice. He believed this was the best thing possible. You gotta picture this, right? A father and his son, they're walking. Imagine what's going through his head. He can smell the firewood. He looks at Isaac and he's just soaking it in. This might be the last time I see my son. This is how it must be a real tense situation. I imagine they probably didn't speak. It was just tense. Isaac's probably confused. Why are we going early in the morning to offer a sacrifice? When have we ever done this? He's probably confused. And like I said, I didn't say this, but it took 3 days to reach there. Not because Abraham was delaying, because it was a long way away. How many days? Don't forget that. We're going to get back to that. 3 days. And so now Isaac breaks the silence. It's he's walking up here. They're about to reach the mountain. And Isaac's confused. Usually when you're doing a sacrifice, there's an occasion. There's a reason why. And Isaac's been walking, and he's it's me and my dad. There's no animals to sacrifice. What's going on here? He's real confused. He's thinking is he going to sacrifice me? And so he asked this. So Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on sorry, not this one. Sorry. Okay, yes it is, sorry. So Abraham took the wood and burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the two of them went together. But Isaac spoke to Abraham his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." So he's saying that word, "Here I am" again. Then he said, "Look, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering." This is very it gives you chills. Isaac's just looking at his father, and he's "Dad, where is the animals?" And Abraham doesn't know what to say. He just knows he's obeying God, and he says, "God's gonna provide. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. He's gonna provide, my son." What do you think Isaac's thinking? A lot of people read this story and they think Isaac was a little baby that got offered on a sacrifice. At this point, Isaac's about 20 years old. He's old. If he wanted to run, he could. If he wanted to beat up Abraham, he could. He could have been like, no, I'm not going like this. He could have. He knew what was happening. He's offered sacrifices his whole life. He knows what animal to bring, how it looks. He knew this situation was different. Where is the sacrifice? Oh, I'm the sacrifice. And what's crazier about this story is he willingly did it. And we'll get into that in a second. And so he says, lay out the firewood, and tells Isaac to get on. And Isaac willingly gets on the altar. Now this has to be the most tense situation. Isaac has to be scared. He has to be crying. Abraham himself has to be crying. Abraham takes his knife out. He has to be shaking. His only laughter, his only joy, his only means for living. And he's about to sacrifice him. I imagine, at this moment, even the angels in heaven were, shocked. Is he going to do it? This is the capacity in which a human being can love God? Think about it. The angels, they're used to, destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. Humans are the worst. And they see this guy offering his only son for God. They can't believe it. They're baffled. He's actually about to do it. And as he's about to strike Isaac, he hears a voice from God saying, Abraham, now I know that you love me. Take away your son from the altar. There's a ram over there. Bring the ram onto the altar. And then it says Abraham called this place, the Lord will provide. He named that place, the Lord will provide. Before we get into what just happened, before we break down what just happened, I want us to understand something here. We want God to provide for us without any type of sacrifice. We want him to give for us without any type of sacrifice. Abraham, to receive a blessing, which he's about to get, by the way, he had to offer his son, offer his sleep. He got up early, offer his strength. He's an old man, had to climb a mountain, 3 days journey. We want a blessing without any type of sacrifice, any type of effort. That won't work. Why? Does God need our effort? Does our efforts do anything for him? No, it doesn't. So why does he want it? Because he's not going to enable our terrible or bad or toxic behavior. If you continue to stray away from him and he showers you with blessings, why would you turn to him? The reason why he withholds blessings from you is because if he gives it to you, it's actually going to ruin your life. You're already walking in destruction. You're walking in sin. So if he gives you blessing, you're thinking your sin is good. You're thinking you can get away with it. You're thinking I can keep doing this. He asks you to sacrifice because he wants you to show that you have a little bit of sensitivity to him. You have some effort to get towards him. He's not asking you to be perfect. He doesn't really care about how much your sacrifice is or what your effort is. He cares about what your heart is. And if your heart's not with him, he's not going to enable you. He's not going to let you think what you're doing is okay. Abel and Cain, they offered sacrifices. Both of them did. Whose sacrifice was accepted? Abel's. Why? Did God just like Abel's sacrifice? No. Abel's heart was pure. Cain's heart had a lot of resentment towards Abel. He killed me. That was corny, I'm sorry. I don't know, we gotta edit that out. Anywho, this is the kind of love that God is looking for. This willingness to sacrifice, this pure heart. He's not asking you to change your ways at once. That is not what God wants. He doesn't want your perfection immediately. He wants a willingness, a person to say, here I am. That's all he needs. He's looking across this room, looking for one person to say, here I am. That's all. He just looks for that change of heart. There's a true story. There's a story of a guy, there's a boy and a girl, they're siblings. And they're growing up in the house together, and the boy is like this church phenom, right? He has a great voice, and he's a prayer, a man of prayer. He knows the Bible, all these things. And the girl's not into it. That's just not her thing. And every time people would come to the house, They would say, this boy is going to be a monk. He's going to be a great Christian. And they look at the daughter, like, why don't you be more like him? Like, what happened to you? And every time people would come in, like she felt like these eyes on her, people just judging her, saying, why aren't you like him? And eventually, they both grow up and they go their separate ways. The boy becomes a monk and he goes to the monastery. The girl, she becomes a prostitute. The monastery, they find out that the boy's brother or sister is a prostitute. And they say, hey, like, let's pray for her. Let's bring her into the monastery. Let's pray for her. Like, that's your sister. And he's like, sure, okay, like, I'll go get her the next day. And so he goes and he finds her where she is. And he says, my sister, please, there's a way out. God will change your life. God will change your heart. He just needs a little bit of effort. He needs a change of heart. And she says, okay, like, I'll go. And so as she's going on the journey, she keeps saying, but wait, they're going to judge me. I remember those eyes that looked at me at the house. I remember what people said. Those monks, the way they dress, all these things. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I can't do it. And you're like, no, you can. And she's like, okay. So she kept going back and forth, fearful of the judgment, fearful of what's going to happen, fearful of her past experiences. And as they're walking, she suddenly stops. And the monk turns around, and she had passed away. And he sees her spirit ascend into heaven. You see, for her, that struggle, that willingness to even walk to the monastery, knowing the judgment she might get, God was like, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. I'm going to spare you from the judgment. I'm going to spare you from those eyes you were scared of. I'm going to spare you from those tears that you were going to have. Just come with me. It's enough for you. That's what God wants to do with all of us. Just a change of heart. He's not asking you to be this amazing person overnight. He's looking for someone to say, here I am. And God speaks to Abraham and he says, then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time out of heaven and said, by myself I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. Blessing, I will bless you, and multiplying, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your descendants shall possess the gate of their enemies. In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. He doubled down on his blessing. He swore on his own name. That's a big deal. When God says, I swear on myself, you're good. You're blessed. He gave him the promise. What did I say earlier? What you release in faith, God pays back in fullness. In fullness. What does it mean to love God? Is it like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, like Jesus is amazing. Like, I love you, Jesus. Like, I love you, God. Is that what it is? It's a lot deeper. In fact, it tells us in 1 John chapter 2, to love God is to keep his commandments. To love God is to keep his commandments. He who says, I know him, meaning God, and does not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoever keeps his word, truly the love of God is perfected in him. By this we know that we are in him. I love this part. The love of God is perfected in him. Meaning it was a process. It became perfect. It was perfected in him. So don't read this and be like, oh, I'm cooked. Like, I don't follow his commandments, so I guess I don't love him. That's not what it's saying. Your love will be perfected if you strive to love him, to keep his commandments. What's the commandment? Love your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. If you strive for that, that's what he asks for. And he'll continue to pour it. God calls you to give up everything so he can give you more. Like, God's math is like different. There's a thing like girl math is a thing, right? Like, I don't know what it is. Is there guy math? Is there guy math? There is? Y'all gotta tell me what it is after. Anywho, but there's God math. There's God math. God's math, like on the surface, it doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. It's the reality. Like if you have a lot and you lose it for God's sake, you get more. That's just what happens. We see it in the Bible. You've seen it in your life too. When you've given up something you didn't want to give up, and you're like, whoa, that was the best thing to ever give up. It just happens. Like if like Christ says this, whoever loses his life for my sake will gain it. It doesn't make sense. Like, what do you mean if I lose my life, I'll gain it? What does that mean? He's saying if you lose your life, meaning your attachment to the world, your attachment to his riches, you will gain life. What is life? Life with me. Christ said, I have come so you may have life and have it more abundantly. If you lose your life, you gain an abundant life with Christ. That's his math. That's how it works. And it's true math. I don't know if girl math is true, but this is true math. That's how it works. So my thing is, maybe the reason we have so little is because we give up so little. And I'm not talking about physical things. I'm talking maybe the reason we have such little peace, such little love, such little patience, is because we give up so little. So let's get, like, before we wrap up, we're almost done here. Are y'all with me? Are we good? Can I talk for like 10 more minutes? Is that cool? All right. So let's get into the mind of Abraham. Let's play like psychology, okay? Is there any psychologists here? Nobody? Doctor, lawyer, engineer, that's all we got? I'm on a roll today. I don't know what got into me. How could Abraham do this? Like, let's get in his mind. Like, what's going on? Like, how, like, could somebody, like, in their right mind even, like, offer his son? Like, let's be real. If I was in his shoes, I'd be like, God, this is where it ends. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can't do it. Like, my son, are you kidding me? I can't. I'm not there yet. So, like, how was he able to do it? There's a couple things. First, I want to start at this verse right here. Not that verse. That's too long. Wait. We're still trying to get everything good with the slides. I'm working on it. Anyways, I'm not going to read it. I'll follow me, okay? Hebrews chapter 11, verse 17 through 16. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac. By what? By faith. And he who had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called. Concluding that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. I want to focus on concluding. What does concluding mean? It means you thought about something, you processed it, you prayed on it, you meditated it, and you concluded something. It says he concluded that God, if he wanted to, he could raise up Isaac from the dead. Nothing's impossible for God. He concluded that God was faithful. That was his conclusion. Where do our conclusions lead us? Where do our doubts lead us? Where does our lack of prayer, our lack of meditation, our lack of relationship with God lead us? Because it led Abraham, his prayer, his meditation, it allowed him to conclude, even if I offer up this son, my son, God, he got it. He got it. He concluded that. That's the only true conclusion you can reach. Any other conclusions from the devil. The only true conclusion is that God will provide. You don't need to know how. I said this weeks ago. You're not entitled to know how God works, why God works, in what ways he's working. All you need to know is he is working for your benefit. Period. That's it. That's all you need to know. And that's what Abraham concluded. Is that my God, who promised me that somehow, some way, out of Isaac, I will be the father of many nations. I don't know how, why, what, when, but that's what he promised. And I trust his promise. I conclude that God is faithful. Here's my son. That's what he reached. Like I said, he didn't know how or what was going to happen. Like Abraham, he never saw like a dead man raised before. So even in his mind, he wasn't thinking, aha, like, God, I got you. Like, you just want me to do this so you can, like, raise my son back up. Like, no. He had never seen this happen before. So it's never in his mind. He truly did not know what the heck God was doing. But he concluded that God is faithful. So my question for you is, are you going to see a trial and believe God can bring a blessing out of it? Are you going to see a trial and believe that God can bring a blessing out of it? Or do you say, nah, this trial, nobody's been through this trial before. This trial, only I get it. Nobody understands me. Are you going to believe that God understands you and he'll deliver you from the trial? If God tells you, you don't have to be married to be happy, are you going to believe that trial? Are you going to trust that trial? If God tells you, this breakup that you're going through is saving your future, are you going to believe that trial? Are you going to trust it? If he says your sickness, spiritual or physical, is going to bring glory to my name, are you going to believe it? Because for Abraham, this is the hardest thing ever, but he believed that there would be a blessing after it. Like I said last week, God, when he takes away Ishmael, when he takes away a fleshly thing, he gives you Isaac, a spiritual thing, an eternal thing. In the Gospel of John, chapter 8, Christ says something really beautiful. I don't have the slide up, forgive me, but he's having this discussion with the Pharisees, and I encourage all y'all to read it. John chapter 8. And the Pharisees, they press him. Pharisees, by the way, they're people who they think they know who God is. They follow a strict law. There's no love. There's no mercy. Christ came and was you guys are just hypocrites. You don't even practice what you preach. I'm practicing love. You guys have no love. And so the Pharisees, they come to him and they start pressing him. And they ask him, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are saying, you forgive sins and you perform these miracles? Do you think you're greater than Abraham? They ask him that. And he says, truly I tell you, Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and truly he saw it. And they were like, what do you mean? You're barely 30 years old and Abraham lived thousands of years ago. How did he see you? And he says, truly he saw me. Abraham actually saw Christ fully. Before Christ came down to earth, Abraham saw him fully, and Christ testified about it. How? Now we're going to get into the symbolism behind it. The most beautiful part of this story, like I said, remember I started off by saying a lot of people think this is toxic or whatever. But the most beautiful part of this story is God allowed all of this to happen in Abraham's life for us to see and recognize the love of God. Let's break it down. Isaac is Abraham's only begotten son. Isaac carried the wood that he was going to be sacrificed on, that he was going to die on. God sent his only begotten son, Jesus Christ, who took his cross, carried his own cross, that he was going to be sacrificed on. It keeps going. The ram. Remember I told y'all there was a ram that God provided. Christ is symbolic of that ram. Isaac didn't actually get sacrificed, right? He didn't actually get sacrificed. God was like, I love y'all too much to make y'all go through it. But just so you know how crazy this is, now you're going to understand when I get sacrificed, how real crazy it is. How crazy my love is for you. How deep my love is for you. Because you read this story and you're like, oh, this is toxic. Why would a loving God do this? Christ is like, exactly. Because that's what happened to me for you. You don't understand my love. You don't understand the extent I went through for you, for your salvation. You never would have recognized this. Abraham never really knew this was actually a foreshadowing of what Christ was going to go through. Christ allowed him to go through this for us to recognize that this is the amount of love God has. You're thinking, oh man, a father sacrificing his son, that's tough. That's hard. Christ is exactly. And that's what I did for you. Even though you guys were the sinners, even though you guys were the ones who were supposed to be sacrificed, I gave my life up for you. The journey took 3 days. Christ's crucifixion and resurrection took 3 days. You see the beautiful symbolism of the Bible? You can't make this up. This is the beauty of God. I told you this last week. God makes everything beautiful in its time. Like he paints this beautiful picture. You don't see it as he's painting. God, what are you doing in my life right now? This is terrible. God's like, wait, I'm not done painting. He keeps painting. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Like, what are you doing? He's like, don't worry. I'm still painting. I'm still creating this image. And then at the end of your life, he's like, here, look. And I'm like, it makes sense. I went through this. I went through that. And I didn't understand it. But when you put it all together, it makes sense now. John chapter 8, verse 56. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. So, a couple things before we wrap up. Stop wishing you could see Christ now. A lot of people are like, let me see Christ. Like, God, please, like, can I have a dream at least, like a vision, like something? Can I hear your voice or something like that? Don't do that. Because that's what the Pharisees did. The Pharisees are like, show me God. God's like, Christ is like, it's me. Don't you see? When you say, God, show me yourself, we become like the Pharisees because Christ is present every single day. We just can't recognize him because we're like the Pharisees. What are the two things we need? Separation and sacrifice. When you separate yourself from the world, you can hear God's voice. When you offer a sacrifice, he appears to you. You feel his presence. He's really there. You can't see him without separation and sacrifice. And so now, Abraham brings Isaac and they walk back down to the mountain. I forgot to mention this. Abraham and Isaac, when they went on the journey, they brought 2 other people with them. But Abraham told the 2 other people, wait at the bottom of the mountain. Now Abraham and Isaac come down the mountain. The other 2 people, they were like, they knew that Isaac was about to be sacrificed. And they just went along. But the fact that Abraham and Isaac come back down together is symbolic of Christ's resurrection. You guys see how they play together? The Old Testament and the New Testament, how it's connected? If God gives you a trial, he knows you can overcome it, and he gives you the tools to endure it. Isn't that beautiful? Like your father knows you better than anybody else, and he gives you something to go through because he knows you can go through it. He knows you can overcome it, and he gives you the tools to do it. God will never be like, here's a trial, good luck. He believes you can overcome it. He gives you the tools to overcome it. So the last little principles I want to give to everybody. What you cling to is usually what God asks you to release. Ask yourself right now in your life, what has like a stranglehold on your heart? Is it money? Is it your career? Is it your idea of a relationship? Is it your friend? What is it? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? What is it? Whatever it is you're clinging to, that you're like, this is mine, that is most likely what God is saying, I need you to let go of this. The most precious thing to Abraham was Isaac. And God said, I need you to let go of this. He didn't make him let go of it physically. He made him let go of it spiritually so Christ could have more room there. God is not saying quit your job. He's not saying leave your husband and become a nun. That's not what he's saying. But he's saying detach your hearts in the sense that your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend is everything to you. That doesn't work with Christ. Christ is like, I'm yours and you're mine. Detach your heart from your job. Detach your heart from worldly things. That's what he's saying. Whatever you're holding on to and your heart's occupied by it, God asks you to release it. What you release, he often replaces it with something or someone more valuable. He's a faithful God. He doesn't just say release it and suffer. Release it and be sad. Release it and be emotional. Release it and be depressed. Release it and I will replace it with something or someone more valuable. Remember, we learned this. Abraham released Ishmael, gained Isaac. That's God's promises for all of us. Lastly, when God replaces, he rewards. After the replacement, he blesses you abundantly. We saw what Christ said. I will bless you abundantly and multiply your blessings. And literally to this day, he was faithful to it. How do we know? Like I said in week 1 and 2, Muslims, Jews, Christians all say we're the children of Abraham. Did God tell a lie when he said you're going to be the father of many nations? He's faithful to the promise. So now at this point, we learned the capacity of which a human being is capable of loving God, to the point of offering up his own son. You know what's funny? A lot of times we read this and we say, this is unattainable. Or even if we don't say that, we say, wow, that was a cool story, man. Like, great, thank you for the story, but, you know, I'm going to keep doing my thing. That's not the purpose of these lessons. The purpose isn't for you to say, Abraham lived a cool life. Cool. Like, shout out to him. That's not the point. God is looking everywhere for an Abraham. He's looking everywhere for an Abraham. Don't read the story and say, that's good. No, he wants you to be Abraham. He wants you to be Sarah. He wants that for you. What father doesn't want the best for his children? What father doesn't want to bless his children abundantly? He wants that for you. Stop minimizing yourself. God said you are a prince, you're a princess. But why are you making yourself a servant? Why are you making yourself a slave? Why are you saying that's not for me? Why are you saying I'm not that? God is saying you're my child. Of course you are. Of course you are. He looks everywhere in everybody's hearts and saying, is there room for me here? Can I fulfill my purpose in your life for you? Will you allow me to? Will you say, here I am? That's what he's looking for. At this point, Abraham, he's completed his journey. Full unity with God. That is our goal. Full unity with Christ. His thoughts are our thoughts. His wants are our wants. His likes are our likes. What makes him upset makes us upset. Abraham reached that point. He's blameless. He's complete. He's lacking nothing. No more tests for Abraham. He's past it. No more. At the rest of Abraham's life, no more suffering. He gets to raise his son Isaac. He gets to find Isaac a wife. He gets to see Isaac get married. He gets to do all these things. And he saw Christ as well. And that's what Christ wants for all of us. And so next week, we're going to kind of tie everything together. I have a surprise for next week. Next week is going to be a surprise. But we're going to tie everything together, and we'll see what happens next week. Glory be to God.